Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, a great day of trade for the market given the fact that, in fact, has got nod to increase its stake in HDFC Ergo and HDFC Life. Aside of that, on the losing front, you had GSW Steel, you had Hindalco, M&M and Divi's Lab. ITC also among the laggards in today's session. Among the other movers, Lupin, that stock was up somewhere around 6% as it got the US FDA approval for its blockbuster Spiriva drug, which is a respiratory drug and has a potential of $1 billion in revenues. You know, the management had penciled in an approval by August in its earnings call a month ago, but you know, the approval has come ahead of the management's expected time, and that seems to be that was in fact a big trigger for re-rating for the stock as per analysts. So that we will have to wait and watch for as to what the analyst community has to say about this approval. In fact, you know, we may get some brokerage reports tomorrow morning, and then we can see whether the stock is up for a re-rating or not on the back of this approval. Aside of that, Z, that stock also rallied somewhere around 4% or thereabouts on reports that its merger with Sony is on track. But Sony, of course, has made some comments to Reuters saying that it takes a SEBI order on Subhash Chandra and Puneet Goenka very seriously. So there is no clear path as to whether or not the merger is happening or not. But we still have to wait and watch on that front. Aside of that, a lot of mid-cap movers in today's session, Shriram Finance and Piramal Enterprises, Yatin.
So, we had a block deal in Shriram Finance wherein Piramal sold its entire 8.5% stake. The total proceed value would be close to 4,500 crore for Piramal Enterprises, and that is the reason why the stock of Piramal Enterprises rallied by over 15% in intraday trade. Also, Shriram Transport Finance moved 10% post the block deal which happened in the block window. A few days back, TPG also sold shares in Shriram Transport Finance. So clearly, a lot of activity in the block deal market. We also had Aptus Finance, wherein we had a block deal of nearly 80 lakh shares. And obviously, post the deal, the stock fell by nearly 8%. But yes, a lot of buzz in the mid-cap space, the defense space. Obviously, PM Modi is in the US. He's met a lot of CEOs today in New York. And probably, when it comes to Washington tomorrow, there could be some big bang announcements in the defense space, Nandita.
Right, of course, defense stocks will, of course, hog the limelight all of this week. But on that note, let's take a look at all the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Starting with Blue Dart, that stock rallied over 7% in today's session on the back of an upgrade from Motilal Oswal. Now, the brokerage has pegged a target of 8,040 rupees on the stock. It believes that, the substantial decrease that we have seen in ATF prices will boost margins for this company, given the fact that ATF actually constitutes somewhere around 40% of its operating expenses. So, earnings are expected to pick up for this company from the second half, according to Motilal Oswal. And, when you look at the company, it already has leadership in air express space, and in fact the company has also made addition of 2 fleets, in fact 2 aircraft to focus on tier 2 and tier 3 cities that will boost volumes for the company, and because it sees good demand in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, so it's looking to capitalize on that as well. Company, of course, is focusing on increasing its share in the e-commerce space as well, and Motilal Oswal expects EBITDA margins for the company to rise to 13 to 14% in the second half of the current fiscal, vis-a-vis current rate of 10 to 11%. The brokerage also believes that the valuations have become pretty attractive for Blue Dart, especially since the fact that it has come off quite a bit from its October 2022 highs. But Yatin, if you look at the stock PE of 46x, it is a little expensive vis-a-vis its peers. But Motilal Oswal believes that after the correction, the valuations have become attractive, and the company has given a good profit growth of a CAGR of 20% over the last 5 years, and return ratios have been healthy, and dividend from this company has also been healthy. So all in all, looks like the tide is turning for Blue Dart.
Yeah, and obviously Blue Dart is one of those MNC companies which have been doing really very well in terms of the logistics and e-commerce segment. And e-commerce obviously could be the growth engine moving ahead for all of these logistics companies which do end-to-end deliveries. But moving on to HDFC Bank, the stock closed at the day's high, supporting the markets in trade today. Obviously, HDFC Bank being the top Nifty gainer, contribution was also quite strong. Today, Goldman Sachs is reinstating a buy on HDFC Bank with a target of 2050. Now, Goldman Sachs believes that the growth opportunities for HDFC Bank have been quite strong. and post the merger with HDFC Limited, it will emerge stronger. In fact, we have Goldman Sachs, which is forecasting a earnings growth of nearly 18% for the next 3 financial years starting FY23. They do expect that strong balance sheet and superior profitability will support the valuations, and right now the stock is trading at almost 14 to 15 times FY24 EPS. So yes, valuations are good. The merger approvals are awaited, post which in the next 20-30 days probably you could see a single entity between the HDFC group, which is HDFC Bank itself. So let's see how really the merger momentum takes place, because right now we have RBI, CCI, a lot of these technical approvals in place, and I think once the exchanges approve and aggregate the entire approvals, we could see HDFC merge into HDFC Bank in a very short period of time.
Right, that's when I think after the merger, this entire entity will become the 5th largest globally as well.
Yes.
So that's of course one stock to watch out for. The other stock on my radar today is RVNL. Of course, yesterday we spoke about it, Yatin. There were reports that its JV with Russian company TMH had fallen through. That was the JV that had bagged the Vande Bharat contract from the government back in March. But today RVNL has clarified that these reports are factually incorrect, and that the JV is on track, and none of the parties have really terminated it, and the bank guarantee of 200 crores that was supposed to be deposited will be deposited on time, and the project will start. So that is something that made the stock reverse its losses from yesterday, and deliberations on the MOU terms are still going on, because yesterday there were reports that TMH was not willing to give RVNL a bigger holding in the JV. So that is something that came out as an update today, and aside of that, RVNL has also bagged 3 projects from Chennai Metro Rail, and that is worth over 4,000 crores if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's around 4,100 crore rupees or thereabouts. Look at the stock, that is up 80% on a YTD basis. Remember, we were talking about the stock earlier as well. It has recently bagged the Navratna status from the government. It has been consistently bagging projects, irrigation projects. It is looking to diversify away from the rail segment as well. So all in all, things looking up for RVNL. Of course, in the middle, in February, it had fallen to levels of somewhere around 63 or thereabouts. But since then, because of consistent project wins, the stock has done fairly well. And if you look at the valuations compared to other railway stocks, this stock is pretty cheap at 18x or thereabouts. Yeah. And of course, it is looking to expand its footprints beyond the railway segment. So that means that prospects going forward look pretty bright for RVNL.
Yes, and railway defense stocks are in focus. RVNL, obviously, Nandita has spoken much about it, but BEL, that is one company which is in focus. Yesterday, during the market hours, they announced 5,900 crore worth of defense order, of which a majority order was for the Akash missile systems. Now, the company has been guiding about 30,000 crores of fresh. This large order almost, paves way for 30% of the overall guidance. Now, if you look at BEL, right now the stock has been, trading at an attractive valuation. Looks good, Nandita.
Well, there we have shared 4 stocks that were on our radar today. But with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. If you have any comments, share them with us and write into us in the comment section below. But for all your other news and updates, stay tuned to Moneycontrol. Thanks a lot for watching.